Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to be wrapping my headers. So several months ago I did a DIY exhaust on my car. I ended up getting a set of long tube headers that were painted because at the time I couldn't get the ceramic coated ones I wanted. They were back ordered. So I ordered them, ceramic painted them, and unfortunately all the paint kind of flaked off. So now that I'm doing my 6-speed swap, I had to drop the exhaust anyway. I pulled the headers off mainly so I could wrap them, make them look a lot nicer when I put everything back in the car. So I'm going to do a step-by-step wrap and show you how to do it if you've never done it before. I'm also going to repaint the flanges and the collectors, so once it is wrapped, it looks a lot nicer. So we're gonna just go ahead and get started with that.
This week's video is brought to you by SeatShafts.com, manufacturer of solid stainless steel seat motor drive shafts. Save money on costly seat repairs by replacing the weaker factory shaft with an upgraded, stronger one. Custom sizes available for all makes and models: BMW, Chevy, Dodge, GMC, Mazda, Mercedes, and many more. Visit the link in the description or go to SeatShafts.com. I have everything laid out here on the bench that I'm going to use. I ended up going with D.I.Y's header wrap. I got two, one for each header. I also got the stainless steel ties. This didn't come with it. There are plenty of kits out there that come with this stuff, but this ended up just coming just the wrap alone. So I ended up buying a bunch of these. I did have to get a new set of header gaskets. I am going to use heat paint on these flanges because this is pretty much the only thing that held up with the temperature. So I'm going to clean this up, paint the flanges, and paint around here a little bit. So with the wrap on there, it'll look a little bit cleaner. The first thing I want to do is get a plan on how I'm going to wrap these. I'm going to do all the individual ones that have a lot of space around them first, which is essentially this one and this one. These ones, since they're so close, I will wrap them together as they come closer down here, and then wrap them together down at the collector too. Okay, now I'm going to start off with the seam side here towards the collector. And I'm going to make a loop around here to get an idea how much material I'm going to use, because I'm going to cut off a long section first instead of trying to spin the whole roll through here. So now that I have it kind of around here, I'm going to count how many loops it's going to take with a 1/4 inch lap on each one. All right, now that I have my loops all counted out here, I'm going to just cut it with some scissors. Now I'm going to start laying this out around the header. All right, now with my bottom piece with that stitch side towards the collector here, like I said, I'm going to fold this in like that, like 45 degrees. And then I'm going to wrap this all the way around here. Not just the 1/4 inch, but the whole thickness of the wrap. And now I'll start overlapping every 1/4 inch. I ended up rolling up the excess just so it's easier to loop it around the runner instead of dragging all the whole material through. All right, now I'm at the top here by the flange, and I have some extra here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use this metal tie wrap, and I want the thick end to be at the bottom here. So I'm gonna make sure I cut off just that little bit here, because I gotta fold it over on each corner and fold it underneath itself before I put that on. So what you'll do is you fold each corner in, and then the center in also. So it looks like everything's folded over. I'll do it up close here in a second. And at this point, I'll take my metal zip tie, so now that I have that tight, to get it extra tight, you could either push on this with a flathead down in here like this, or you can take a 1/4 inch drive extension and cut a notch in it, and then at that point you can put it in here and twist it, and as you twist it, it'll tighten this down extra tight. Like that. And then you could just cut off the end here, the excess, and then just fold that over. Okay, now I'm gonna do the same thing with this one here. All right, so I got that one done there, and I just wanted to show you what I'm doing at the bottom there. So I'm cutting them, and then I'm bending them in with a pair of needle nose so you don't get cut on the sharp tab there. All right, so now I'm getting ready to wrap the collector here. I'm gonna start at the bottom here, and I'm going to come all the way up to about here, and then at that point, I'm going to do these two all the way up. So kind of the same thing as doing the individual one, but you're gonna need more material around the collector. So you're gonna count off how many around the collector here, and then once you get to where you want, count off how many times you loop. And the same thing here, this loop is gonna be different too. So count off these, and then count off how many loops this size all the way up. And make sure you have extra for this too, because it looks like I may have to go around here, all three of these, because it's so tight right there that I may not be able to get the wrap through there. So I may have to go all the way around here once or twice. So I'm gonna account for that too, and just make sure I have extra. All right, so same thing as before, stitch in this way to the collector. We're gonna do a 45-degree angle. That. If you have to use something to hold this down, just use a regular zip tie on here, not a metal one, because this may move a little bit just because of the size of the collector, how it's tapered. This one's holding up pretty good so far. All right, so I ended up putting a tie wrap here because it was moving, and there is a little bit of extra looser wrap down here, which is kind of normal because of how it goes from small, starts to taper up. So as you try to pull this tighter, you are going to have some loose spots, but you can use the metal zip ties to secure that once we're done. So I'm at the point now where I have all this wrapped, and now I'm moving over to starting to wrap these two. Just want to give you an up close view here. So now I wrapped all the way around up as far as I could, and now I'm going to sneak this underneath here like this and start doing these two. So I was able to get this wrap up in here really tight here, so I didn't have to go over here, which I kind of wanted to, so it gives it a little bit more of a cleaner look. Alright, so the first one is done. I have a metal tie right there. And then I ended up replacing, I had two here. I ended up just cutting both of those off and just putting one on just so it matches all the other ones. So my approach for the driver's side header is going to be the same thing. I'm going to do this one by itself, and I'm going to do this one by itself, probably about to here. As you can see, they all get really close around there, and at that point I'll come do the collector and then go off into these two all the way up. Alright, so now that I have both of these done, my plan is to start down here, work my way up to about here, and then I think I'm gonna have to come down to 3, and then at this point in here, it'll give me some space, and at this point I'll do here, these two all the way back up there. So here I have everything wrapped up until about here, and then this is where I changed down to just the two, and this is where I'm going to finish it off at. So I just finished up, and this is what they look like.
Alright, so that's it for today's video. So they turned out really nice. I am happy with the way they look. They'll definitely keep the temperature down too in the engine compartment. Just a couple quick things that I just wanted to throw out there. Doing this 1/4 inch drive tool is like a really awesome thing to do because it really tightens those down good, and then it gives you enough like bent over area where you can actually just pinch it, cut the excess off, and you don't have to worry about like trying to fold it over. So I would definitely suggest doing this. They actually sell this too, which I think is kind of a waste where you could have like a cheap extension and just cut a notch in it and then still kind of use it. The other thing is to make sure you have extra for when you do the collector and then the 2 tubes if you have to do that, because even when I counted out what I needed and went over, I was really close at the end of the first header that I did. That the last one, I ended up using like the whole roll just to be safe to get it the way I wanted, because once you go around from the tapering of the collector and then all around all the pipes and stuff like that, you're really using a lot more than you think. So definitely use that when you do that main section. As far as the tubes are concerned, they're pretty much spot on when you kind of measure out the material that you need. So they're my little thoughts on it, just to share with you guys. So when you do it, you're not like taking it back apart. There's a couple times I actually didn't show, just to make sure that it's right. So if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. Thanks for watching.